Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Reverend Elizabeth Brabant, and I will be your leader this morning. And we'll begin with our meditation song, We Are One, on page 28. Join me for the opening meditation. We unify now with the presence of God's light and love. And we are one. We feel our oneness with God and with each other, and feeling this oneness now. Our hearts are open and receptive to the perfect right lesson or lessons to be learned today. The Christ within guides us all the way. Thank you, wonderful God, and so we let it be. Well, welcome to everyone. I think we know everyone that's here today. It's good to see you all again. And at the teaching of the Inner Christ, we celebrate our divine unity, our oneness with the Christ within us. And here at the teaching, we have Sunday morning services, and we have Wednesday evening services called Faith Lifts every week. And we do meditate and pray and come together as a group of Christ beings, learning more and more all the time about our Christhood and the Christ within everyone else as well. So it's wonderful to have you all here. And all of you, I believe, have a slip, which we call our prayer treatment slip. And if you think about it for a while, or maybe you already know right offhand what you'd like to write on here, a prayer for our special time when we say the prayers later. And then later you can also put them into our box. It's right under the picture of Jesus, and the prayer circle will pray on them for 2 weeks. Always be sure you let us know when something manifests or if you need more prayer, because after 2 weeks we automatically release them, knowing that the demonstration has already occurred. Well, let's hear from someone this morning that has has a prayer that has manifested. Judy.
Hello.
Good, come up where we can see her.
So last month, I put in a request for my right knee. I was feeling some pain, swelling, and Anyway, that's enough of that, appearances. And so I found out that Elizabeth got the request and has been praying for that. And I was able to get insurance, health insurance, and see a doctor, and then a specialist, and then go on to physical therapy. And in a matter of a week, it was amazing how I could almost walk like normal and get up and move around. It's wonderful. So thank you very much for all your prayers.
All right.
God.
And we do, all of us, pray for everyone, really, that turns in a prayer. Yes, Elaine.
My husband, has had me put in request a prayer circle for prayer work, and I've been doing the praying too for his perfect health and other things. So he told me yesterday that his recovery period from doing a lot of work and a lot of, being active a lot, has become shorter. So there you go, that's a manifestation in progress. Also, he can do this with his left arm now. He hasn't been able to do that for, I don't know, a long time. He could turn his head like this and like this, and that's new. So, thank you, God. Thank you, God. He had platelets therapy, and so we know God can be in a pill, as Ann Meyer McKeever used to say, and because God is omnipresent. So
Yes.
we thank God. And I think prayer circle too.
Yes, we have a wonderful prayer circle. We enjoy getting together and praying each week. So be sure you turn your prayers in, because we love to pray for you and for ourselves too. Everybody wins. So we have a beautiful song. It's an older song that I think most of you'll know. And it's on page 64 in your book. They'll know we are Christ's by our love. Would you like to stand up and we'll sing it together?
We are one in the Spirit, we are one in the Word. We are one in the Spirit, we are one in the Word. And we know that our unity will
just a reminder, Reverend Richard is taping our service today, so if you need to get up and go someplace, just be mindful of straight ahead is where the camera is focused. So if you can go around behind, that'll work much better for us. Thank you. Well, we have lots of center events coming up, wonderful things. And today, actually, for those of you that are on the LBR or the IBA, we will be meeting, and we will be having at 12:30 the LBR meeting to start with. So don't forget about that. And on the 23rd, week after next, we have a potluck, so you can bring your favorite dishes to share with others, and we'll share together for the potluck. And the 30th of this month, August 30th, is Bring a Friend Sunday. So if you know someone that's interested or you can speak to about bringing them just for the Sunday so they can see what it's like, do so. And we'll have a good time that day because it's also birthday celebration. Those that have August birthdays will be celebrated with some cake. Yes. And we have a workshop that is coming up soon. And these are back on the table if you'd like to take a look at them. It's a joy shop, actually, not a work. We don't call them workshops anymore, joy shops, because we have such fun doing them. And it's called Collage Creations, and it's on October 11th. And it is given by Jennifer Lonick, who is an artist in the area. I don't know her personally, but I hear all good things about her. And what they would like, or what Jennifer would like us to do, is to collect small things, you know, buttons, money, whatever you'd like to put on it. Something small, something anywhere around that can be, this is just a little picture of one thing that's been done. There's a feather hanging down here and some wires and just any little thing. And even if you're not coming, if you have some of these small things, you could bring them in and give them to Kayla or Jeanette. And that way they will be there for those people that are coming. And we'll make some beautiful collages on that date. And that's in October. Yes?
Okay, these things have to be glued on something. Are we also supposed to bring like a piece of cardboard or canvas or something to glue them onto?
I believe that she's bringing all of that. Is that correct?
No, the boards that they will be provided, but, and I don't know about the glue and stuff, but the other things that go on it, like a picture from a magazine, or if you have a ticket left over from a concert that you went to that was specially memorable to you, you might want that ticket glued on, something to remind you of what that good time. If you found a lucky coin somewhere, you might want to paste that on there because, again, it would be something memorable. And so it's stuff that's special to you that she encourages that you bring. But some of the things like the glue and the sparkles, that kind of thing will be provided.
And it's a bargain price, $25, and she's providing some of the materials.
A lot of that pays for the boards that it will be on.
Uh-huh, right. So come and have a good time with us. Well, we have some special music now, and Marvin Dillard is going to do It Is No Secret What God Can Do. Come on up, Marvin.
When I looked at today's title, this old song came to mind. And when we get to the second chorus, we're going to ask you to join in and help us out. someone slipped and fell, was that someone you? You may have longed for added strength, your troubles to renew. Do not be disheartened, for I have news for you. It is no secret what God can do. What He's done for others, He'll do for you. With arms wide open, He'll pardon you. It is no secret what God can do. There is no night, for in His light you'll never walk alone. Always feel at home wherever you may roam. There is no power can conquer you while God is on your side. Just take Him at His promise. Don't run away and hide. Everybody. It is no secret what God can do. What He's done for others, He'll do for you. With arms wide open, He'll pardon you. It is no secret what God can do. Hey, you did great.
That was awesome.
We have a special presentation today. So I would like to call up Reverend Kayla Rose Carroll and the IEBT to present these wonderful certificates.
Well, we recently finished an intersensitivity class, which most of you know is our beginning class. It's where they get their start and start moving into a new acceptance of their spirituality. So I'd like to welcome with me Judy Holmes. And the other student that we have isn't here today. So I'm not sure where she is, but we will give hers to her at another time. That's Sarah Z. She also completed the class. So and Judy, this is her third time to complete the class, but she still deserves the certificate. So Judy, thank you so much for attending, and she just gets wiser and wiser every day.
Thank you. Okay.
So we'll ask the chair of the IEBT to give her a prayer.
Oh dear, that would be, well, we know that Judy, beautiful Judy, is one with the whole universe. We know that she is filled with the love and the light of the Christ, that she is the love and the light of the Christ. And as she goes forward in her daily work, we know that this light just shines forth and benefits each and every person with whom she comes in contact. So we know right now that Judy is a living Christ personified, showing forth all that beautiful love. We give thanks for her presence and for the way she blesses us each and every time she comes into the door, and other times too, I'm sure. And so we give thanks for this wonderful, beautiful Christ being. And so it is, and so we let it be. Thank you, Judy.
Reverend Marianne. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Our inspirational reading this morning comes from one of our love scriptures, affectionately known as the Big Books. And I've been going through every one that I have. It's not a book I've used as much. I've been going through them to see what all is, and I'm finding some real gems in every one of these love scriptures. And that course will be taught soon. I don't have the exact date right here. Do I? Yes, I do. And it's actually September 15th, so it's not that far away. It'll be on a Tuesday evening at 6:30, taught by Reverend Brigetta Heimers. So it is a wonderful class, because look at what we have. We have these wonderful channeled messages from Jesus. And these are channeled through sensitives from the Brotherhood of the Teaching of the Present Jesus. This particular one is on page 91. Feel your oneness with God by feeling your oneness with all about you. With every form of life and everything that you see, feel this often and continually, this oneness. You are one with me, you are one with each other, and through this oneness, miracles are happening. As you realize this oneness, you deepen your spiritual awareness. As you express our oneness, you shine and radiate light. This light lifts you to a high awareness and a high state of peace, comfort, and joy. Each time you connect with your inner Christ, your truest self, you open the way for others to do the same. Each time you attune to your Christ nature, each time you do attune to this nature, you create oneness. I am your Christ nature. You attune to me, and I to you, and I am able to guide you gently. Our unity is one with our Father's. Our Father creates great miracles through us. Claim this oneness for yourself and all others. Well, this morning we have a very wonderful lady, and she's our newest ordained minister, and has actually also written the theme for the month, Unity with God. And we started it on the front this time. I really like that. And she does many things here at the center. She also teaches English as a second language at the college. And her students, I know, are real happy that she's there at all times. So I'd like to introduce to you Reverend Elaine Fuller-Zachey, speaking on unifying God in everyday life.
Unifying, consciously unifying with God in everyday life. You can have fear or faith, Babaji told Anne Meyer McKeever, one of the founders of the Teaching of the Inner Christ, and he added that it was up to her to decide. She was facing a challenge and felt a lot of fear from it. Thankfully, she chose faith. And she chose conscious unification with God, and she went on to continue building the teaching of the inner Christ. God was at the helm here, through every step that she took. It was the right time and place for the truth that everyone is a living Christ to be clearly presented and broadcast to the world. We are each, as Anne, within that breathing in and out, which is God. Everything that I know is within God's truth. It's part of truth. It's all I know is God. That's all. And all I can express. I recognize God here, just as we all can recognize God in and as ourselves, our lives. And Mary McKeever's everyday life was conscious realization of God, conscious unification with God, and therefore doing God's work. God was the fire in her, that divine fire that led, at times even drove her to her life's work, which was with the assistance of Pete Meyer and Babaji, her own inner Christ, bringing teaching of the inner Christ to us and here to everyone, to this planet. Divine fire. Have you ever experienced that? Have you ever felt it? Yeah, I can see that look on your face. Yes. Take a minute to think of that. Have you ever just known something was right for you, with the realization that colored everything else in your life? I have, and I don't know when it began. I just don't know. That was certainly Anne's realization. I loved church as a child, growing up in rural upstate New York. Going to church Sunday morning with my sister and cousins was never a chore, never an interruption of life. You know how little kids are, sometimes they don't want to go. Before age of 10, I attended the little country church in Bowen's Corners, a village close to our country home. My sister Cindy, cousins Kathy and Keith, and I went to the Sunday school in the basement of the church, where I loved the Bible stories that the teachers presented. They were just fun and wonderful, and at midpoint in the service we would march in as a group, and we would sing as we went up the center aisle, and then we would sit in the front pews for the rest of the service. I'm sure there was a good psychological reason that we were in front, so perhaps the minister could keep an eye on us when we got too noisy, wiggly. Now, when I go to New York for a visit, I make sure to at least drive by that little church. I don't even remember the denomination. It was some kind of Protestant church, you know. Those Sundays were some of my first spiritual experience. And I just wanted to be there, you know, so that I could be close to God. When I was 10 years old, our family moved from our country home to the small, nearby, small factory town of Fulton. Here we joined the nearby First Congregational Church. My parents didn't attend, but I did. And I always rolled my sister Cindy out of bed on Sunday mornings so we could walk the few blocks to the service. Sometimes she would gripe about it, but Mom and Dad were happy about it, and they always helped me to get her out of the house. It was great. Why did I have to go to church as a child, you know? Who or what was I looking for and finding? God, right? The rightness, the whole Sunday thing was is a great memory for me. I accepted a school friend's invitation to attend a service given by her evangelist preacher father, and the man was a good speaker. I was ready too. So divine fire bloomed inside me for the first time, just, it shook me. It shook me. The minister called for people to come forward and accept God or Jesus. I don't remember which one he said. What I do remember is my first encounter with that sweeping, powerful fire. My parents never gave me any support though. Maybe it scared them because I was so shaken, And the girl never invited me again, so I didn't return. I went to my own first congregational church, I realize now that this was unification with God, and it made the right impression on me, whatever that was, for the time. And it moved me closer to experiencing a God hunger. That, our desire to get like a vitamin B shot or something of God ever so often.
Yeah, right enough.
Either here or at home with meditation and prayer. Unification with God isn't always that sweeping fire that seems to grab us and whirl us around. Sometimes it's a desire that's seemingly not connected with God, but yet it remains in us as part of us, maybe in the back of our minds. No matter what else we're doing, it's there. And later on in our lives, we could see how the desire fit with our overall goals in life. For Anne Meyer McKeever, desire, God hunger started as a child. She made her own little kid version of the Bible, and she called it a Bible, or spelled it a different way. Her family didn't support that, didn't understand it. Yet later in life she moved on into spiritual experience. And she saw that as a little kid's step toward it. Spiritual experience, well, spiritual celebration, TIC's annual spiritual revival, convention, renewal, is certainly wonderful. The latest one was an excellent opportunity for me to consciously unify with God, then carry it back into my everyday life. Did that happen to you? Did you go? Did you get a God dose, a Christ dose? I attended Friday and Saturday. I worked Thursday and needed to return Saturday evening. While there, I prayed, I meditated, I led a big love power circle, attended a workshop, laughed, talked, and enjoyed like-minded friends. My roommate was Elizabeth Brabant. She's a fun buddy. And not only did I get Elizabeth, but I got her whole fun family in the deal. It was terrific. During a moment of quiet meditation, I received some information. Jesus, my inner Christ, channeled through me, paint at least 2 times a week for at least 15 minutes each time. Good. I'd wanted to paint again. Somehow that validated it, or motivated me, added that little extra thing, I'd wanted to finish up a certain painting for about 2 years. I'd left it out so I'd seen it every day. And not just put it away so I'd finish it someday. Someday that doesn't ever come. I didn't forget, I didn't forget the painting, it was there. But I did feel frustration with running around and doing other things instead of picking up a brush to work on my almost finished piece. Painting twice a week for at least 15 minutes a time was perfectly doable. So I started, right? Although I was teaching double duty, that is all day, during the summer, first part of the summer, I found the opportunity. 15 minutes twice a week, sure. Ideas flowed during my meditation and prayer time concerning art. Also, when I actually picked up the brush The work took place, and every time I painted, anxiety just dissipated. It went away. I became centered instead of stressed. Art is, to me, a form of light meditation, and I channel what to paint. The painting is done now. Good. It's a good painting too. Bright colored, dramatic images, thought-provoking, symbolic. I realize that art is a thing I'm quote-unquote supposed to be doing. And depicting animals in a spiritual manner to show their inner Christ, their Christ reality. Doing this has actually opened up my mind for more pieces. You know, when we open up the channel, it just flows. Whatever it is that's right for us, it just comes. I've already started another painting, and since I'm on summer break now, I can spend more than 15 minutes 2 times a week on art. So I do. But when school starts again, I can go back to that old schedule. It keeps me in it while I still take care of other things. See? It's a way of unifying with God in everyday life. Consciously unifying with God in everyday life. And it lifts me into peace and happiness while creating an object which the right person or persons will love. So it contributes in a certain way. It contributes to society. I may already have a buyer for the painting I've just finished. Since I haven't sold any work for a while, I checked on prices of art that locals were selling. So I would have an idea of, fair pricing. What about you? Huh? What about you? Stand up here talking and talking. How do you unify with God? Consciously unify with God in your everyday life. Meditation with your inner Christ, right? With inner Christ guidance on how to do this. Does this unifying lead you to certain ways of seeing life, to the discovery of your truth, to action? Think about it. How does it affect you and others around you? Anybody? How does this, yes?
Well, when I'm really present in the moment with my cat, and I am petting him, and I feel so much love, and I can tell he feels the love as well, and I feel that connection with God. It's very strong.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Anyone else contribute? Huh? Yes.
Well, you remind me, in meditation each morning, Judy and I make time to be on the patio outdoors. And busy thoughts, race mind, if you will, pretty regular in the first 10 minutes. But if I settle, I do a little reading. If I, almost all cases, after 10 minutes, and you're reminding me today how it unfolded. The mind quiets, seemingly and suddenly, and I recognize it happening, and then it just seems so rare that the opportunity to listen to spirit takes place, and then bliss happens, ever so momentarily yet, and then it sometimes it will extend, and it certainly affects my morning as I come from the meditative to the eyes open again. And in fact, in a recent reading, Sri Chamoy, he was in his little booklet. He says to meditate with your eyes open, at least to some extent. and recognize that the consciousness can be okay. You can meditate eyes open. And I thought, to me that was like, whoa. I had forgotten her. Because I had experienced it before, you know, and kind of peeking out. The dog
Beautiful.
moving around in the foreground.
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
Thank you.
thank you.
Anyone else? I'm sure that with a little thought, we can each call up answers to this. You know, we can always do a prayer concerning our inner Christ leading us to opening up to unification with God in everyday life. You know, that continues on and on. You know, so we drive along 94 or something. God is here, God is there, God is da-da-da. God is this angry person, God bless them, the driver next to us. God bless us as we drive in the traffic.
Thank you.
Well, God is one, the one unit of being, and does not use an assembly line. Parts of God, including each of us, always differ from each other. No one else can contribute to the all what one individual can and does. No one else can do that. We are each essential to the whole, and we have different functions and earthly life. I invite you to meditate and pray about conscious unification with God, right? And see how your inner Christ guides you in this. Being a Christ, channeled from Babaji through Ann Meyer McKeever, at that time known as Ann Meyer. And Peter Meyer refers to the glorious, glorious duo life. And that's on page 184 if you want to refer to that. It's a point at which persons realize the continual knowing and experience of the inner presence and channeling from spirit becomes a constant process. This is when a person has become the nature of that Christ self. And, you know, we are each a Christ, each God made manifest. We need to serve by expressing, by showing essentially what we have realized about ourselves. This can be through art, teaching, medicine, cleaning, managing, office work, or something else, right? Growing tomatoes and sharing them, right? All can be our channeling of our Christ vibration and channeling it not just to us, but in a way to everyone and everything around us. We therefore give God in us and as us back to God, the oneness of being. We give God to God. It's pretty nice. In addition, Anne recommends on page 185 of Being a Christ that we meditate on a leaf or something else, for at least 1 hour. When she did this, as Babaji directed, she learned from the leaf to worship life. She felt awe, amazement, and love for and with this leaf. She unified with the leaf, with life, and with omnipresent God. You know, that was a divine fire, bliss. She states, I have never forgotten this. The realization that comes with meditating on a leaf or something or someone else carries over, influences our lives, our ability to see, therefore to love all as God, even a seemingly aggravating neighbor. This activity is God awareness. You know, it's conscious God unification in our everyday lives. And it lifts us to a new realization that, as Anne stated and experienced, stays with us always. Every time we do it, we go a little higher, a little higher. So let it influence us.
You know, I encourage you to meditate on a leaf or something else with inner Christ guidance this week. You know, do it this week. And I thank you for your time. Thank you.
And it's time for our offering and the blessing of the offering on page 11. You will find that in your program. We can say it together. Ready?
I accept abundance as my true condition in life, and I know my giving blesses all of life. Give thee thanks for the abundance that is ours. Lord, I do give thee thanks for the abundance that is ours. All that we ask we receive. All that we're seeking we find. Each door we knock on is open to us. Now I can see by the light in my mind. Lord, I do give thee thanks for the abundance that is ours. Lord, I do give thee thanks for the abundance that is ours. For the abundance that now is ours.
We bless this offering, giving thanks for everything that each person here has gifted this teaching. We know that all that we give returns to us, multiplied and in kind. And we thank you, wonderful God, for this blessing. And so it is. Amen. And we're going to do our prayer now. If you have your little slip of paper, if you'd like to get it out, remind yourself of what you're going to pray for, or perhaps some of you are just holding it in your mind or in your heart. We'll pray together now. Well, we recognize God is divine love and light, infinite peace, harmony and joy. God is perfect expression and divine abundance. We are one with God. We are love and light, peace, harmony and joy. We are perfect expression and divine abundance. And we claim right now our heart's desire fulfilled. We know that it is fulfilled perfectly with the guidance of our Christ self. We accept that our blessing, our knowing of the Christ within. We unify completely with that. And any fears, angers, frustrations, anything unlike the absolute truth of God is now lifted into the healing love and light of the Christ. It's healed, it's forgiven, it's released. So we thank you, wonderful God, for the answer to prayer. We thank you, wonderful God, for the fulfillment of all of our blessings and desires. Thank you, God, and so it is. And our meditation music today will be In the Garden, and Marvin Dillard will be singing that song for us. And let's give him applause first, because afterward we'll go right into our meditation.
Believe it or not, this old hymn's older than I am.
Not possible.
I come to the garden while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses, and He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. He speaks, and the sound of His voice is so sweet, the birds hush their singing, and the melody that He gave to me within my heart is ringing, and He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known.
We come to the garden of our own self, our own inner Christ, the garden of peace and of love and of joy. And we know our inner Christ are guiding us in this now. Let's take a deep breath of love. We can close our eyes and out. And we realize the holiness of that garden which blooms within us, which is all around us, which is God. We relax here in this beautiful earth, this garden. We relax here at TIC. We sit in a perfect, wonderful position. We feel relaxation and love in our feet and our legs. From feet up through our legs, through our thighs and into our hips. We relax here. We relax our lower torsos, mid and upper torsos, including our shoulders and our arms, down through and into our hands and fingers. We are at peace. Let's take a deep breath of love in and out. Relax. We relax our necks up into the backs of our heads to the top, the sides of our heads and the fronts. We are at peace, unified with God, with the guidance of our inner Christ. We are at peace, and this peace and love fills our conscious minds and our subconscious minds. And we step into the silence of our own deep meditation. dear inner Christ. We thank our dear inner Christ for this perfect meditation. And we know that it stays with us always. Our awareness moves into our subconscious, then our conscious minds. And our awareness moves into our bodies. We are aware of the solidity of this manifested body, which is God manifest. We are aware of our heads, our neck, our shoulders, arms, hands. Awareness of our physical strength and solidity flows into our upper torsos and mid and lower torsos, into our hips, into our thighs, our knees, our legs, our feet and toes. We are here in this garden of a world to share what we are with God all around us. So let's take a deep breath of love and energy. And out, we can move our bodies, move around. Here we are. Where are the lights? Okay. Thank you, God. Huh? Oh, go. Okay, let there be light. Thank you, God. And so it is. Nice.
And we have an affirmation for the coming week down toward the bottom of your paper. And find it. You kind of look up this way. We can read it together. Ready? I see God and love in all persons, animals, places, and things.
You all.
We can practice seeing God in all places, animals, people, and things this week. And this coming Wednesday, we have our faith lift. And oh, here it is. Jennifer Helen Prather will be leading our faith lift. And it's recognizing God in everyday life on Wednesday. And next Sunday, we have consciously unifying with God for wholeness and wellness. And that will be led, she will speak on that, Reverend Marianne Fellows. So we thank you, wonderful God, for beautiful people that guide and direct us each week. And we're going to sing our closing song. If you'd like to stand.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would like to right a wrong, not exactly a wrong, but I missed the mark this morning. And when we did the intersensitivity class, my co-teacher was Reverend Elaine Fuller-Zachey, and I forgot to call her up today and honor her with Judy as my co-teacher. So I wanted to give her an applause. She's a great teacher, not only in her other life, but in TIC. She teaches the principles very well, and it was a pleasure having her in class and as a co-teacher, and I just didn't want to forget you, Elaine.
Okay, so let's stand and we'll come up to this area in front to sing Love is the Only Power.
awareness that God is that, God is that, God is that, God is all, God is each one of us, and being is a holy divine experience. Thank you, God.
Thank you.
And welcome Fran from Hawaii.
How does she do it?
Sister.